Now what we're going to do here really follows a simple structure. One-handed operation, sensible use of auto modes, and saving on battery life as much as possible or as much as it makes sense given a certain scenario. Most used functions go on the function buttons, second most used functions go into the function menu, and third most used functions go into the My menu. Then some crossing of the T's, some dotting of the I's, and you're all ready to rock and vlog. Alright, let's start with the function buttons. Enter the menu, come to the movie menu and enter the Custom Operation 1 submenu. Right here, custom keys for video is what we need. And we're going to start with the C1 button right here. And we're going to set that to audio rec level. Might seem like a weird way to go, but hear me out on this. Think about it. What's the one thing you absolutely have to do from in front of the camera when vlogging with a Sony? Leveling the microphone to selfie distance or arm's length, because the Sony doesn't feature auto leveling. So I do realize that probably you're only going to use this function once a day, best case scenario, or worst case scenario, going in and out of a lot of windy situations, maybe a couple of times a day. So not all that often compared to, say, focus functions. However, ever since I put the audio rec level on the C1 button, leveling the microphone from in front of the camera for vlogging has been nothing but a super convenient experience, and I think it's going to be the same for you. Next up, we're going to take care of this little autofocus manual focus switch right here. And we're going to start with the upright position. And we're going to set that to focus mode. Downward position, like this, we're going to set to focus area. C2 button, right here, the trash can button, we're going to set to focus magnifier. And as you can see, all of these buttons relate to the focus system. And that's done on purpose. Next up, the click wheel. Clicking up on the click wheel will still toggle the display modes, so we can simply follow the custom key set for stills. Clicking left on the click wheel, that will be monitor brightness. Clicking right on the click wheel will be the ISO, and clicking down on the click wheel will be the exposure compensation. And since we don't have a button on the lens, at least not with the kit lens or the lenses that I'm using, we're done with the function buttons. Let's move on to the function menu. So, come back right here to Custom Operation 1 submenu inside the Movie main menu and go to Function Menu Set. Before we begin, let me delete all of those so we can start fresh. Alright, first item, shoot mode. Second item, interval shooting. So these are the basic modes. Right here you can select aperture priority or manual controls, and should you want to do a time lapse, that's where interval shooting comes into play. Next up, creative style. And a corresponding setting, metering mode. So here's where you tweak the image a little. Maybe a little more saturation, maybe a little less contrast, maybe a little sharper. And the metering mode, center weight for vlogging, because usually you're in the center of the frame and you want to be exposed correctly. But these are minor changes. However, should you want to shoot log, that's what's up next. So picture profile. And if you do decide to shoot log, you want to look at the nice image on the display, so you need the Gamma Display Assist. Here's how that works. Let's enter the regular function menu and let's turn on S-Log 3.
Right now the image looks like an S-Log image. Super flat, super desaturated. Not a nice look. Now you can fake it so it looks like a regular image while still shooting log. It's just more pleasant to watch, really. Here's how to do it. Enter the function menu, come to Gamma Display Assist and select the option for S-Log3 to Rec 709. That will bring in the saturation and the contrast and will get you a regular looking image while still shooting log.
Finally, audio signals. If you're shooting in a church, turn the audio signals off. Any other scenario, I usually keep them on. Now there's 5 more options left to be set. I don't need any of those, so I'm not gonna put them in the menu, confusing myself. That's all I need, that's all I'll use. But feel free to add more. Now that we're done with the function menu, let's check out the My menu. So, My menu is actually the 6th main menu right here, the one with the star. So let's start adding items. Number 1 is Format. Formatting the SD card. Let's place them right here and let's continue. Next up is File Format, but not for stills right here, but for movie or videos. That's the one we need. Next up, the record settings, of course. Then we're going to control via smartphone. That's what we need. Next up, of course, the Wi-Fi settings, because we need those to control the camera via the smartphone, as well as the Bluetooth settings. And that makes up my first page of the My menu. Let's go on with the second one. Again, add items, and now we're dealing with zebra, peaking, and zoom. So let's go to zebra first. Let's move right once to the second My menu page and add zebra settings right there. Next up, peaking. Et voila. Then moving on to zoom settings and the zoom. And we're going to finish with the airplane mode. So that's what the My menu for vlogging looks like. Format the SD card at the beginning of the day. Make sure you're in the right file format. For me it's x86 4K, and you use the right recording settings. For me 25 frames per second at 100 Mbit. That's the first things I do when I start vlogging. Make sure there's enough space on the SD card, and then make sure I'm recording with the right file format and the right recording settings. Then I would enter the functions menu, making sure I'm using the right exposure mode, which in my case is aperture priority. By the way, to go back into the functions menu, hit the FN button again, because the menu will get you right into live view. Then I would select either a regular creative style, maybe alter it a little, or I would choose to shoot log, in which case I would also use the Gamma Assist Display function. And then, next up, would be using the C1 button, leveling my microphone from in front of the camera. And once that is done, should I need to alter anything regarding the focus system, I can do it from back here. Also, should I be in a very sunny situation, I can click left and go to sunny weather option, which will immediately max out the screen brightness. Super useful. If I'm shooting log, I click down on the click wheel and constantly overexpose by 2 stops, which you have to do if you shoot log. So that's what I would set right here. In a low light situation, I can click right and set the maximum ISO. I wouldn't push it above 3200, for example. And should I want to design a shot, I come to display, get rid of some of the settings so I have a better view. And this right here brings us to the next step, dotting some I's and crossing some T's. So let's do that.